Alright guys, welcome back to the Project Card video, the Project Card series I should say. We're on episode 3 now, and a little bit of stuff has happened. So, last time you heard me, I was saying about the fact that I towed my car to a shop. Well, I got the car back. I paid for the only inspection fee. I got the car back, I picked it up. It was really weird because there were everyone was there. Everyone seemed to be there when I went to pick it up, which is really funny. It was more, I guess, lively when I went to go pick it up. So anyways, I went to go pick up the car. There's a guy that helped push the car out. Why is it every time I see this car, every time people see this car, or I'm telling about my story with this car, they happen to be car people and always want to work on cars. They know how to work on cars. This guy was working on making I think a smaller truck. I think it was also a Ford Ranger or something. And he's trying to add make it 600 horsepower in that thing. And I was like, whoa, dude. So this guy, he was I think he was probably a little younger than I am, maybe my age, I don't know. And he was helping me out. His job was literally to push cars out. So that was his job. So he helped me out. He helped us out, push the cars. I got my friend. He was there, and my friend's dad with his trailer. I was going to tell you, that was a really interesting story. And we started pushing the car, and the guy says, "Don't be this is crazy." The guy says, "Yeah, we drove the car in just fine." And I was like, "What? I had to tow this thing, and you're telling me the car drove in just fine because the shifter thing was broken, right? So that's why I had to tow it." So I said, "Oh, okay." So then my friend's dad, who was helping us, he knows how to drive manual, and looks like I don't know how to drive manual. So he actually drove it and instructed everything. He's very strong and everything. So he pushed the car, he drove it on the trailer, and it literally fit on the trailer. It fit perfectly. There was probably about 6 inches of clearance on each side. In the front and the back, it had plenty of space. It was crazy. And then he was driving a Ram Rebel, and this thing could tow this thing no problem. I asked him, I was like, "So, have you towed anything do you think this was the heaviest thing you towed?" He's like, "Yeah, I probably towed mulch heavier than this." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." So we got the car in, and everyone was out literally watching us as we leave, which is pretty funny. I think literally everyone that was working there that day just saw us leave. And we drove it back, all back roads. We never went on the highway. We didn't want to risk it falling off, so it made sense. So we drove back roads. We drove all of it on back roads, and we got it back. And the weirdest thing happened. So we got it back, and we rolled the car off like it should. And we accidentally strapped the ratchet strap to. It fell while it was being towed, and it fell inside the tire, inside the rim, and then it went inside more, and it got stuck, and it was wrapping around the brake. We were trying to pull it out, and so we had to jack up the car, remove the tire, take off that strap, which we did get off. We did literally remove the brake caliper temporarily, which is crazy. And we put it back on, and then we had to push it. We turned on the car, we pushed it back into a spot where I wanted to see it, because before I couldn't see it from my apartment window, so I moved it to a spot where I could see it. And then we tried to turn it on again. It didn't want to turn on. And then so I had to literally use turn on to the on setting instead of turning the car on with the engine. So I turned it to the on setting, and it was no power steering at all. So I was cranking this thing, and we pushed it back. This car is pretty light, so it's only 2,000 pounds, so 2 tons. And so we pushed it back into the spot, and battery died. They had to go, they have a lawn mowing business, so they had to go and cut some lawns. So I had to go to Walmart and pick up some jumper cables. Now I'm running to Walmart because I have to grab jumper cables to jump the car. Kit acquired. I went back. I got my Prius out, which I didn't know the battery was in the front. Not in the front, it was in the back, so it was like the weirdest thing. It was my first time jumping a car, and I jumped the car. The car turned on. And then I'm like, okay, since the car turned on, why not replace the spark plugs while they're at it? I've been watching the Donut Media videos. I think I can do it. So I started yanking the cords, and I got the spark plug bit, right? I put it in, and it does not fit. It shattered the inside of the bit. So, and then I'm yanking on the plugs, and I'm like, oh shoot, where's the firing order? Did we get the, I can't figure out the firing order. So then I'm over here trying to struggle to get this thing back on, turning, and I didn't get the firing order right. So the car wouldn't turn on. I heard a bunch of, there's a pop, and there's a bunch of other stuff, and I was like, oh shoot. So I couldn't get it on, so I was like, alright, I'm going to have to leave it, because I can't get this car started now. Because I had it started, I jumped it, and it turned on, and then I killed it, because I tried to remove some of the spark plugs. I went to go jump the cables, and I was like, alright, well, let me go see if I can get a spark plug, because I've been watching a lot of Donut Media's Money Pit Miata episodes, which honestly I'd recommend if you were learning. They seem really good. But I was watching that, and I'm like, okay, I could probably do the spark plugs. They seem pretty easy. Yeah, I didn't know that Mazdas and German cars are very different. So I started yanking all the spark plugs. Started yanking them all out. One of them came undone. And then I tried to reorganize wires as I always do, because I'm always I'm a guy that likes to organize wires. And I now can't get it started because I messed up the firing order. I don't know which wire goes with what in the displacement, and I didn't take a photo of it before I started yanking wires because I didn't know that. So, after I got the car started, I tried to put the wires back because I tried to replace the plugs, and the bit I got actually shredded, so I could not even get it out, which is annoying. So basically, I tried to replace the plugs. I misplaced all the wires, so I don't know which wire it is. I had to figure out a combination. It's like cracking a code. And I have to do a ton of attempts of guessing and checking to see if I can start this car again. And there might be a small chance that the battery died again, which means I might have to replace the battery, which is not going to be good because it's another $200. Can I get this car started again? This is rough. So I texted my friend, and when I was in high school, I was a teacher's aide for photography, and he was in one of my classes that I had helped teach. He was one of my friends in that class, and he does a lot of mechanic stuff as he goes to a school where he does mechanic stuff, and he loves working on mechanics. So I asked him, I was like, hey, literally immediately after, I'm like, hey, this is what happened. I didn't tell you this about Roger Car stuff. And then he says, yeah, I can come up and check it out. And I'm like, okay. So he came up the next day, and he checked it out. And we were trying to figure out the firing order. That took us about a good hour or so, hour or 2 hours of just trying to figure out the firing order because it was very weird. We tried to replace the spark plugs, which I wanted to see if we can do. We decided not to replace them because they didn't look the right way. There's the 3-prong one, there's the 1-prong one, which is the one I got, the 1-prong, the 3-prong. And then try to replace the wires. We tried to keep everything 0 rather than try to replace it because it wouldn't fire as well. We eventually learned that we did get the right firing order, so we kind of guessed and checked and got the firing order correctly, and we're not going to touch that. I was watching a video when I was trying to figure it out, and they said, take a photo before you do that. So I should have done that. I really should have done that. Remember that for next time. So we got that going. And then the car still wouldn't start. So it was firing, but we couldn't get the ignition going. So we started checking the coil. The coil looked fine. We started checking like the ignition and the dash. We checked literally like we tried to go for a lot of stuff. We checked the filter, the gas filter, everything. We were literally like going from bare scratch on this thing. We were trying to get everything. And then they were like, okay, we're not getting anywhere. It's getting late. We can't do anything with this right now. So we're like, okay, let's take a step back and come back tomorrow. So this was yesterday now. Came back and we were all baffled by the fact that it ran and then now it's not running. And all we did was just put the firing order back and it should be running, right? Well, obviously with German engineering, it's not going to be that easy. It never will be. So we came back and we ran some other tests. We went out to Harbor Freight. We got a new battery because we kept jumping it every time because the battery I think was dead. It was literally dying. So I got a new battery. I bought some stuff. We got a new oil filter thing because there's an oil leak. So we got a new sensor, oil pressure sensor. So we got everything. We ran out. We got everything we needed. Got some stuff that will help clean the car and everything. We got it. We put everything together. We got everything all set up. And then we found out that where the battery is when we were replacing it, there's the wires. There's copper wires that are kind of exposed that probably should be replaced. I'll probably have to replace that. That it wasn't fully in together. We put them all together because what it was doing, it was turning on and you could hear it running, and then when we take off of the ignition, like we like let it go from this ignition, it would just stop. So then we're like, oh, okay, so what's going on? Found out it was the battery. There's a little bit of wiring that's not fully connected to the battery. And so we did that and the car turned on perfectly fine. And we're like, oh my gosh, we did it. So we actually got it running. We thought it was gas. We did like everything. So we got the car running. And once we got the car running, we cleaned up a little bit. And then we took it to a church parking lot, which is right nearby where I live. And we did some learning he taught me how to learn how to drive stick, and here's some clips of that.
Okay. Start it. Alright. Okay. So always left foot on the clutch. Don't do your right foot.
Oh yeah, that's right. From that, yeah.
Left foot. Yep. Clutch in, bottom and down apparently. I might have to reteach you.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna slowly let the clutch out very slowly, and then you'll feel a bite point, which is where it starts to creep and bogs the motor down. So do that, and then add a little bit of throttle. Is it in gear? Yeah. There. Add throttle. Now, as you keep that amount of throttle, let it out. So you find that bite point, you give it a little bit of throttle, and add throttle as you let the clutch out.
Okay, so go like this.
So yeah, give as much throttle as you're taking out clutch. Okay. That was just gibberish, but you understand what I mean. Don't start in gear, because then we might die. Okay, in there.
In gear. Slowly take it out.
And then once you feel it start to bite, give it some throttle, and then as you let out the clutch, add more throttle. Go ahead. Go. Oh.
Oh yeah, don't burn them.
Add more throttle. And then let off the clutch all the way. There you go.
Dude!
Yep. And you don't need to add throttle. You can let off. Well, you don't have to let off. There you go. Okay. Now to come to a stop, clutch in, put it in neutral, let off the gas, and put on the brake. And you can let off the clutch too. You can just hit the brakes as hard as a normal car. They're not anti-lock, but they're still pretty good. Now I want to see you try it again. You'll master it and you'll be able to do it. Oh yeah. There you go. That's it. Yep, there you go. Start again, I want you to shift. Do you know how to do that? So
clutch in, pull forward, and then slowly put the gas on.
Yep.
Okay.
I want you to do it when you're going straight. Oh. There, perfect.
That's a crazy angle, but it works.
Yeah.
Okay, try again. Okay, so when it stalls,
put your foot on the clutch.
Immediately put on the clutch, or else you burn the clutch.
No, it's gonna do that.
You want your... Actually, that's probably a good place to put that in.
Yeah.
There's your cup holder.
Alright. You don't have to be fast yet.
So what's that learning thing?
Yeah. Once you master it, you'll pick up speed. Let it out a little quicker. Okay. Start again. You're good. Okay. So you can you'll notice it. You can quickly let it out a little bit, and then once you feel it, slow down. So it should be like this. Yeah. It's good enough. It's okay.
Got it.
Yeah, we'll get better at it.
We just run around a little bit with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to.
And then if you want to turn right here, you can shift to second. Go whichever it is. Shift. Okay, you're neutral. Clutch in. There you go.
Oh!
Woo!
Oh my gosh! Got a little shake. God, it's not horribly powerful.
90 horsepower is perfect for this car.
Yeah, I don't think we need to put any more tuning in this, John.
No.
It's lightweight.
Go ahead. Shift. What was that? Hold on. Something fell out of the back, I think, right there. Okay. Clutch out, slow it down. There you go. Slowly. You gotta give it gas while you do that.
Neutral. Sorry, whoops.
No, you're good. So when you're slowing down, when you had it in gear, I wanted you to give it some gas, so then you can keep slowing down while it was in gear.
I got
Go. Upshift. There you go. Clutch in neutral, and then slow down.
no
Up.
shot.
Okay, now I want you to match it. Keep rolling. Don't touch the brake. Put in first. And slowly let it out. There you go. You're good.
Woo! Yes!
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I learned a little bit of how to drive stick. Now, the next thing is, how do I get this thing registered? Which will be a fun thing because it's under my name, which I've never registered anything under my name before. And I've got it. So that will be my next project of how do I get this thing registered. One thing I learned about this car, it was built in West Germany, but I think it has the right 16 or 17 digit VIN. So it should be okay. I don't think I'm going to have any issues like an import, like a JDM import registering, but this will be a little bit of an interesting thing because now they have to do an outside VIN inspection in order to get this thing registered, and that's why I couldn't get it registered because it was staying here and I thought it was broken. And by the way, we did replace the shifter linkage just by doing it. We were like, oh shoot, let's replace it. But we didn't put it in right. First is actually, microphone. So first is actually like down in here rather than up. So we accidentally put it in the wrong spot. So it was like first, second, third, and then fourth. Weird. It should be first, second, third, fourth, and then I should have a fifth gear, which it was trying to do, but we couldn't do it because we didn't have the shifter linkage put in right. So, we did that. We put it in there. And yeah, so now the car runs. I just gotta probably reorganize, probably remove the shifter linkage part. I'll have to have one of my friends help me out with that and make sure it's in the right spot. And the shifter linkage was broken. It was literally not even just like connected. Like the plastic part and the little metal rod, they just disappeared. So that's not a good thing. So I do have it fixed. I'm going to get that fixed, and I'm going to drive it to the DMV, and we're going to get an outside VIN inspection, and I'm going to show you guys what that's all about. Obviously, I'm probably not going to be able to record at the DMV, but stay tuned for that video because that'll be really interesting. And then once I can get this thing registered and everything, I'm going to give you guys a tour. Because I haven't actually shown you what this car is all about. So I'm going to give you guys a tour. And I'm going to, we'll work on it for a little bit. And yeah, so stay tuned, you guys, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.